Welcome to the second iteration of our Portfolio Manager Spreadsheet series. In this video, we're going to be going over some pretty nifty modifications that I've made to the sheet. Most of these are things I would have liked to include in the first iteration, but I hadn't taken the time to work out the kinks in them yet. But now that I've got them, I'm ready to release them. Before we begin, something I failed to mention in the first video was how to take the read-only copy that I give you and make it editable for you. If you just go File, Make a Copy, that will insert a editable version into your own Google Docs account. So let's move on to the modifications now. You may notice in our transaction log sheet we have a lot of little gray arrows here, and that's because I've added some drop-down options to make transaction input a bit easier. In the date field, if you double-click, it'll bring up a calendar, so you can select the date. In our time field, if you want to keep track of hourly time, that is now included as a drop-down, and of course as you start typing, it filters that down. If you want to edit the hours in there, you can go to our hidden data sheet, and here's the list where that drop-down pulls from. You could, potentially delete times you know you're never going to be buying cards, and of course you can certainly just not use this entire column altogether. In our buy sell column, as I mentioned previously, this feeds into several formulas, so it's very important that the spelling and capitalization of these two terms are kept exact, and our drop down now helps to ensure this. So buy. And this is probably the coolest part. Card name and expansion have now become a single string with a cell separated by a pipe, because I found that to be the most elegant solution for what I'm trying to get at here, which is a full list of every Magic Online card that has any value whatsoever. And as you again begin to type, it will filter down that list in an intelligent way, meaning not just from the very beginning of your string. See, type in Fan, brings up Hunted Phantasm, Jace's Phantasm, your Mad Phantasm, and Phantasmal Image, which is what we're going for. One other great thing about this is that the inclusion of the set name helps for when you can't quite remember the set, and this really gets me personally with core sets, the Magic 20X sets, because I know it's part of one of those core sets, but I often forget which one. So you can see here, Phantasmal Image was from Magic 2012, and this also aids in ensuring that you spell the card name right. So now we can enter in our buy price, and as before, whatever bot chain information we enter here will then populate our list to the right that keeps track of our credit. But now that list will then populate our drop down, and this is important because the way I implemented this, capitalization and spelling are important for your bot name credit list. So if you were to, for example, we have Bottom Magic here, if you were to input Bottom Magic with a capital B, it'll see it as a separate bot. But now with the drop down, you don't have to worry about that so much, because you just select whatever spelling you've chosen before, and you can of course filter down as you begin to type. And entering new bots here will of course put them in this list for the drop down to then have automatically added. If we move on to our current portfolio, there haven't been too many changes here. Phantasmal Image is trying to get updated. Of course, the card name and set are now within a single cell. We also have just the set in its own cell. You may notice our collector number column is gone. One other advantage of having this list of card names and sets is that we can then also associate the collector number, and that can be used to generate some of our links to specific card pages on bots' websites. All of our financial metric columns have pretty much stayed the same. We have a new hot list column, which I'm going to detail how to use in another video. And we have links to card pages to help you determine the value of whatever card you've invested in. Again, we have MTG Goldfish, Magic Library Bots, and I've added MTGO traders, so any of these links will bring up pages that are specific to either the set or the particular card, where you can check current buy or sell prices. We have MTGO traders website, sell, buy. Now our closed positions, pretty much the same as always, same metrics, only difference is that card name and set are now a single string in a cell. Now let's talk a little bit about the collector numbers and our list of card name sets. As I mentioned, this is only the cards that are valuable on MTGO, meaning worth about 5 cents or more. And that was done to increase the speed of searching the list and the collector numbers, because with all of the cards, it gets a bit slow, and the majority of cards are worth only about a penny. So I felt this balanced speed and usability the best. But if you want a list of every single Magic Online card with their collector number, you can edit this yellow highlighted cell here. You can see it imports from a public Google Sheet that I set up that has this data, and it calls cell A2, which you can see is valuable. If you want all of the cards, you can just change this A2 value to A1, and then it will call a separate sheet which contains all card name, set, collector number, rarity. And one advantage of this particular implementation, in that it's calling this public sheet that I have set up, is that whenever new sets come out, like for example Eternal Masters, I can simply add all of those cards to the sheet, and then all you need to do is go to your collector number sheet and it will automatically update your list compared to what is on this Google Sheets, which is a much nicer implementation than having, just the exact list in everyone's sheet and they all have to independently update it. Since it's calling some other list, I can update it and have it update everyone else all at once. So those are the main modifications. I think it's made the sheet quite a bit more user-friendly. I'm certainly open to more suggestions about how to improve the usability of this, and in our next video I'm